Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let me get started so we can get right to the good stuff. Good afternoon and welcome to Now and There Asks Conversation Series. I'm Kate Gilbert. I use she, her as my pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director of Now and There, and I'll be moderating this conversation. Today is our second session in this new Now and There Asks, where we'll work with 8 Boston communities to ask, what does your neighborhood need right now? A loaded question. Today's session brings us to East Boston. We're excited to have Gladys Oliveros, Director of East Boston Main Streets, and local artist and founder of the Veronica Robles Cultural Center, Veronica Robles. Welcome. I'd like to begin this conversation by acknowledging that I'm in Boston right now. We are on the unceded land of Massachusetts people. We acknowledge the Massachusetts people, past, present, and future. And this conversation today about the history of East Boston must acknowledge it was founded upon exclusions and erasures of many Indigenous people. Our program here has been created to offer a supportive and proactive space for artists, cultural producers, community leaders, the city, and public in the face of physical distancing and public retreat and everything else that's going on today. We aim to bring together all of you in an open dialogue about what's happening right now in our neighborhoods to better listen as an organization and really to encourage action. So our format today is a 30-minute, it's gonna go really fast with these amazing women that I will moderate, and then we'll have 30 minutes of question and answer. As we go through, please feel free to use the chat, introduce yourself, snap, whatever comes to mind, let's have that dialogue. And then as we get to the Q&A, Mary Liz is going to ask you to put your questions into the Q&A at the bottom. And then we'll invite you on. We'd love to hear your voice live with us. So let's get started. Let me quickly introduce our panelists. Gladys is the director of East Boston Main Streets. Oliveros, has lived in East Boston for the past 35 years. And before that, Medellin, Colombia, a creative herself. She cites her early exposure to art in Medellin, which I hope we'll talk about more today, including the Casa La Cultura that she created in 2010. Veronica Robles is a mariachi singer by trade, but has also become a cultural icon for Boston Latinx community as the founder of Boston's first all-female mariachi. She uses the power of arts and culture to bring her community together, raising awareness of the importance of diversity and empowering youth by employing them and teaching them about their roots and culture. Veronica is the co-founder and director of the Veronica Robles Cultural Center, as we said earlier, a nonprofit organization that supports community action, economic growth in East Boston. And I just want to say that Veronica is unstoppable. I met her in 2008 when we opened up the Greenway, and you've just been soaring ever since. So thank you both for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, I was having difficulties with my audio, but I think it's okay now. Thank you.
You can hear? We can hear you just fine.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yep, we're good. We're good.
Very happy
so let's
to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get started. There's a lot to cover, but for people who aren't familiar with your work, I'd like you to sort of give us an understanding of what you were doing to support small businesses and families in East Boston before COVID, and now we're still in COVID, what you did immediately when it was hit and how your existing connections have really helped support at a grassroots level where maybe government and other funding couldn't step in immediately. And Gladys, let's start with you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Yes, I started my position last September, and I was so excited, but surprisingly, the COVID-19 showed up, and what happened? My work, boom, exploded, because of course, they hit indirectly to the small businesses, my district, and I'm working by myself, and I was, what I can do. But no, right away, and try to look out for sources for answering and things were doors to open. And thanks God, there was the city of Boston with an office that is food access. And yeah, I was dealing with all those restaurants employees that was laid off. and I was helping them to fill out the application to get the unemployment. But I found out that right away we have more than 100 restaurant employees without documents, and they don't have access to those IDs, you know. And of course, the office and the food access office, right away they give me the sources, and we start bringing food to those tables in East Boston. And beside that, we start getting the grants, the loans, and we start helping them to fill out those applications. Those who legally can apply for SBA loans that needs to be citizen or residents, and those that was unable to do it. And then I found sources with Action.org, and they start helping me with those loans for these kind of businesses. And yes, we are still doing it. We're still doing it. Right now, we try to help the economy with the patios, and we are working to get those patios on. And that is my work right now.
That's a lot. So this is the outdoor seating for restaurants, the patios
Yes,
that you're talking about.
yes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of the same challenges of SBA loans and all the other, you know,
Yes.
sort of red tape that's involved. Is it going quickly, smoothly?
Oh, the SBA loans? Okay.
No, the patios. How
the
soon
patios.
till the patios happen?
Oh, the patios. It's going on. It's going on.
Okay,
we are struggling a little bit with some patios that are in the streets, and the business owner don't understand that some streets is impossible to have it. But it's getting. East Boston, you are seeing how beautiful they are getting the patios. Yes.
That's great. And I think that's something that I hear across this other districts in the city, the tension between streets, because East Boston is a very congested space.
Yes.
Yes. So let's keep going, and let's get out there soon. Veronica, you were in the front lines in a very similar way, less with it sounds like with the small businesses, but more with the families. Can you share how you had those connections and what you did as soon as COVID hit?
Yeah, so Veronica Robles is based on bringing together the whole family. We offer intergenerational programming, and we work with children, and we work with their parents. Basically, we bring them together through dance, music, and traditional arts. We enrich the lives of the community at large, performing and showing what we learn in the cultural center. So we keep very close communication with our members. We have about 300 members that are in the core of the organization. We recently moved to the new location, which is in Meridian Street and the old public library, the theater. We are in the basement. And so there's a lot of things going on from the, late 2019 and 2020 with the moving and everything. And then the COVID happened. So we basically help the also creative economy community, offering trainings. Like 5-6 years ago, we started bringing together the health department with the informal food, entrepreneurs, to train them and to make sure that they have all the resources so they can get in on the mainstream. So we've been doing that with the Mexican consulate, with the lawyers for even, I forgot the name of the organization, but we've been working with different organizations. So we keep and continue this communication with different organizations and institutions to make sure that our community are well informed and educated. So we use the power of arts and culture to help the families get a better life, right? So, and when the COVID happened, first thing on my mind, like before March 10, I was concerned, and I started talking to the community, because we have like 100 people in one day from Monday through Saturday, after 5 o'clock, our organization start, after 5, like 100 people, 80 people all together. And so I start getting concerned, and we start talking about it. And then on Thursday, the 12th, I decided that we will stop. And then the next day, the government announced officially, and then immediately I check on Zoom. I start calling everyone to make sure that they have Zoom on their phone, that they know how to use it. That was my first response, getting everybody up to date with the technology, parents, children, everyone, because I saw it coming. I said, this is the only way we're gonna get in touch with each other. Then immediately I started programming the classes online for the children, because I thought their parents are gonna be overwhelmed with this, worry, and then the kids need to be, be busy. Then immediately right after, I started translating documents that I started getting on the email. Only 1 week I was peacefully quiet, but then after 1 week, everybody started sending information, and I started curating emails. I spent like 12, 13, 14 hours a day trying to curate and translate. At the beginning, I started translate documents and send the information. I created a chat on WhatsApp, and so to make the long story short, I ended up like Gladys, helping also the creative economy community to make sure they understood that they could apply to the PPP. And the local artists, I created a fund, relief fund on GoFundMe, because I saw my fellow artists, me too. I started getting cancellations every day, and I'm like, oh my God.
What's the name of the fund?
It's Latino Artists Relief Fund. Latino
okay, great.
Artists
We'll drop
Relief
that in the
Fund.
chat.
Yes,
okay,
I saw them, so I started paying attention to the creative community and the local artists, because mainly the Latino artists work on restaurants as a part-time, but they also have gigs on parties, restaurants, and so they basically live out of the entertainment business and restaurants and singing weekly on different places. So I just want to make sure to start creating groups and saying, okay, these are the most vulnerable, I forgot the word, sorry.
Vulnerable?
Vulnerable. It's like a sector of the East Boston community. And then we got 1,500 people living within the Meridian Street, Bennington Street, and Saratoga Street. So those are the families that I am right now monitoring. And then I started getting in touch with other community organizations like Maverick Landing Social Services and Easty Farm, to make sure that we are all connected, and they've been providing the food, and I've been looking for funds to be able to give some money. Thank God we applied for the Boston Resiliency Fund. We were able to secure some funding, and I've been working. This is really, really hard, really hard, screening people. And then you get depressed because there's so much need and you can only help some of them, and you have to kind of make miracles to be able to support each other. Then we got in touch with other organizations like faith organizations that were also looking for other organizations that are helping, so they know their constituents. So I started working with other organizations. And as Gladys mentioned before the meeting, what we really need right now, leaders like us in our communities, is help, hands, brains.
Great, you're getting to my next questions.
From home, it's not a lot. I mean, if you know how to do database, if you can make phone calls, if you can help us out, in the administration part, because we don't have the funds to hire people.
Right. Gladys Gladys is all by herself. I know you guys, Veronica, you need board members. You both need, sounds like translators might be helpful. People could run databases, call centers.
Yes.
Maybe. So do we need artists? This is where this conversation is going next. So you guys are single-handedly grassroots, holding your community together, feeding thousands of people, keeping businesses going, helping people apply for loans. what's the role of art, and how do you, I know it's both important in both of your lives, how do you balance that? And Gladys, let's start with you. What is the role of art right now? Is it still as important?
Yeah, right now it's too bad because also the artists, the local artists, get hit from this COVID-19. And but Kathy, we had a lot of local artists over there in East Boston, and we need
for a long time now, right?
For many years. Yeah. And yeah, we need help for them. And please, if you are there, listen me and listen Veronica, and you can help, please think on those artists, very professionals, very unique artists, international artists, and they need help. They need help. They are working before, and I know them before are working in a restaurant, in a kitchen, or as a server. But in the weekends, try to survive also as an artist. And I know them. I know, and I don't know much about art, but they are very professionals. Yes.
Well, in my case, what I always say is, we know who we are as a human beings because of art. We know, yes, because we have found pictures and poetry, and that's why we know who we are. So arts mainly are important to understand who we are and where we're coming from. The other thing is, if there wasn't organizations like us, like Veronica Robles Cultural Center, a grassroots organization who started by itself with the community, that we continue that communication, we wouldn't be able to help the community right now. We understand their needs, and not only Veronica Robles Cultural Center in East Boston, which is a full capacity organization with no support from any big foundation. It's
not
been
yet.
Only us, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, I've been working. I didn't do it before because I've been learning. I don't want to ask things if I don't know what I'm doing. But now I know what I'm doing, so I need money. Please come back. No, but I need.
So
yes.
Can you talk more about the role of? Can you talk more, Veronica, about the role of people holding on to, especially immigrants, holding on to their culture, and what you can provide youth in terms of ways that they can connect back with their family, and maybe even how you make traditional arts and music and culture cool? You know, why is it appealing to these kids?
I saw the need back in 1998 when I came to Boston to perform. I used to live in New York. So I was hired to come here. And then I started coming a little bit more often. And then I ended up in East Boston and saw the lack of representation of Latino traditional arts. And I saw a big problem, two. One, the newcomers, the kids, got disconnected from their parents once they got the language right. And then the second one, obesity. So they were not, so active as in our countries. You go out and then you play with your neighbors, but here during the winter is really hard. And then usually the kids lose the bond with their parents because of the language barrier. There is a point where the parents can really guide their children because they have a limitation in the communication. And the kids, they don't learn about their culture, so they don't pay attention. They say it's boring, I don't like it, I feel uncomfortable, because they don't know it and they haven't been exposed. So the way we started trying to fix this problem that I saw was volunteering to offer this dance and music programming to the children. And I don't know, I have a way with the children and the youth. I just love it, and I love dancing. That's what I do, and singing. So I made the choreographies and present their culture in a fun way. So they got engaged, and they started really appreciating and feeling proud of knowing their culture and represented, because when you present something beautiful to the community, they will always accept it. So even the most, let me say, some people are like, oh, I don't know it, I don't know Latino community, I'm not going, I don't feel bad about it, but it's better if I stay because I don't know what's going to happen, right? But if you present the culture and the beautiful way we have with traditional dances, the beautiful customs. So you are also creating a bridge between those communities and the community at large. And the kids that usually come here, they don't feel comfortable. They don't fit in with the rap, with the hip hop, with the jazz, with the blues, with the. They feel out of the the situation, out of place. But if they have an alternative like Veronica Robles Cultural Center, where they can not only be welcome in their own language, but they also feel proud of sharing it with other people like them, and including their parents and their elders and everybody else in the community who are willing to accept and learn a little bit more about those cultures.
Yeah. I think another thing that East Boston in general does well is the mural program. And, there are some older ones about immigration, and I can't name the street, but it's the paint on the mural looks like it's 20 or 30 years old. But then there's the recent Two Immigrants with Love, which Veronica, you're now a mural subject, and your face is there next to Carmelo Shire, I think is, an Italian immigrant. The role of murals through, especially in Mexico, as a way of representing who lives there now, I think does a really nice job of showing the pace of immigration that has happened there. Another piece that I always try to bring in a couple pieces of art that we've seen there. Another piece that might not even be considered public art is the Golden Stairway. Am I getting that right? The stairway up from the immigration stairway. Are you guys familiar with that? It's probably not as, anyway. Upcoming soon will be Seawalls. That was scheduled for September this year. Due to COVID, there's going to be a smaller version of that, and they're redoing it in July of 2021. There's a lot of art and representation and good food, Gladys.
Yes.
And I wonder if you guys would care to share some ideas about if someone's coming over to see some of this art. For instance, last year we had Ryan Edwards, maybe it was 2 years ago now, time's flying, with his BP beats per minute projection installation. What would you ask of someone who's coming to East Boston for the first time, or even considering moving there, and isn't part of the Latino or the immigrant community? Because as we all know, real estate prices in Boston are climbing, and people are coming to East Boston.
The cheap yard.
Start with you.
The cheap yard. I love the work that Matt Pollack is doing over there, and I'm in love with that. And always I invite people from outside to go over there and visit that area. But also, I invite people to go to those restaurants that, when I used to have Casa de la Cultura, we did summer programming back in 2010 and 11, and we saw a lot of beautiful pieces. And those pieces still remain in some restaurants around East Boston.
Yeah.
And I said to them, okay, you need to go to eat in this restaurant and see this painters for this artist. He used to live here in East Boston. Now he is living overseas. And yes, also I bring them to the waterfront and show them the beautiful view that we have.
It's gorgeous.
That East Boston is, wow, it's a jewel for Boston.
Yeah.
And,
you know. The Harbor Arts is also another place that people don't think of that often, but has gotten a lot more attention as the ICA watershed has come in.
Now, yes, that is a new, really good jewel that we have in East Boston. Yes, I love it.
It's a jewel, right?
Since ICA moved into East Boston too, like sadly they won't be open this year because they are helping with the COVID situation, but they've been bringing also the community together. We had the opportunity to work with them last year. Yes. We got a very, very successful event. We were able to bring over 700 people to to see the show of the children and youth of the Veronica Robles Cultural Center. A big shout out to them. We've been also working with the Boston Harbor Now, which I am a member now. I'm a Baser member.
Excellent.
So
And
happy to be there.
Congratulations
on the call here too.
Yeah, I'm thankful because they helped me to bring the community, like 800 families from the community that never visited the harbor and never got into a cruise in the harbor, and see these people with their family, their loved ones, their partners, their couples, sharing our music and the diversity of faces that you saw in those ships with the Latinos. We are of all colors. We're black, white, green. No, green, but yellow. We are a wonderful community. Like
some olives.
We look like everyone. We look like everyone. And seeing all these faces, and now when you see on Facebook that from the first time they were there, thanks to the Boston Harbor Now, and now they go often. They go and visit the place because now they feel it's their own. You know, and things like working with community partners like that is something that we really need to foster and continue, make it more on regular basis, work together. I think this is one of the things that East Boston need, and not only East Boston. I'm all over the place also, and I see the same. They say no, it's not a problem. It's just like everybody, we are so overwhelmed with our work within our community that it's really hard to attend all the meetings and be everywhere. So I think we need a system that we can have like a common agenda where we can all support each other and help. I think that's a big thing that we need in our community.
I think the upside of COVID and staying inside is this, that we are having these conversations. It makes it much easier for the 40 or so people on right now to just tune in and hear you. And I know they all want to support. Everyone doesn't have time. So I've got a question, one question for you. You work so hard all the time. East Boston is pretty well known for its parks now. We won't get into the history of Massport and taking over some land and islands there. That's like a whole other conversation. But what's your favorite park or place to just get outside and get some rest in East Boston? Gladys, I'll start with you.
Lopestri Park. I love it. Yes, Lopestri.
Lopestri Park. I mean, I like the Pierce Park, the Pierce One Park. El Parque Azul, we call it El Parque Azul. But I don't know, Lopestri Park, I had this idea of presenting a show there. And then I partnered with Maverick Landing Association, who hosted an event every year. And so we present beautiful dances and music from there. And it's been like 3 years on a row that we've done it. And it's just a pleasure for everyone to spend an evening there with the community, music, diverse music, dance, food, and everything. I trust right there in Lopestri Park.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites too. I recently moved into the Atlantic Work Scout space on Border Street. I moved the weekend before COVID hit. So I've been coming over on my bike when the train allows, and that is my favorite park too. So look, we did it. We got a whole lot in 30 minutes. But now I know there's a lot of conversation happening in the chat. So I'd love to bring in Mary Liz and others to fire away.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Liz Murray, and I'll be facilitating this sort of group Q&A session. If you have a question or something that you want to add from your experience as an East Bostoner or an artist who works in East Boston, you can submit that through the Q&A function, and then I can turn your microphone on and you can join us. We would really love to have your voices as part of this conversation. We have a great question. Denise DeSantos from the city of Boston is on the call, and she dropped this into chat. So I'm gonna ask this question of both of you, which is a great follow-up to Kate's last question. Which park or area in East Boston can use cleanup or beautification, do you think? What are the neglected spaces that you would like to see given some attention to and some love?
Border Street, close to
Absolutely.
the Chelsea, to the Chelsea Bridge. And well, the Chelsea Creek actually, which is a common area that we share with Chelsea.
Yes. I can add that we had a really good group here in East Boston called the Harbor Keepers with Magdalena Ayed, who I respect much. And I'm working with them. I'm a board member, and we are seeing that the border street right there behind the Chaos area, the Liberty Plaza, in that area is totally abandoned. It's still like, wow, built a lot of trash, but also the Chelsea Creek is needing some help, and the Harbor Keepers is trying to do it. Hopefully we get help, and if you are there and wants to help, please contact Magdalena Ayed. She is doing a really good job on that in the area. That need love. Yes.
Great. Yeah, I know that route well, just based on that's a route to the airport. The airport. But yes, I think that could be a great area to clean up. I have a question about, so East Boston has been for a long time a transit hub of the city, right? In a lot of different ways. There are shipyards and ports, so it's been a port city. There is, of course, notoriously the airport. The Blue Line runs through there and other things. How do you two feel like the transit hub it affects the people of East Boston, and what are some pain points that have to do with that, and how does that affect your community currently, both pre-COVID and during COVID?
I don't know. I don't know if you understand the question. Can you repeat it, or Veronica understand it?
I'm just wondering, like, what your transit, so like how being a port and having the airport impacts your community and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. I can see it in a positive way. As East Boston community have the airport in this area away from the city, because we are a kind of island. And it's a positive way if we see that everybody is coming, needs to come, needs to drive to the airport through us, through the community. And that is good for us if we take advantage to show our culture. That is why I encourage the small businesses to looking good, to improve their food, to improve the service, and to show and be seen. It's a kind of negative way, but I don't see it as a challenger to see how we are separating from the main street, from the Bostonian culture, like Newer Street, like Beacon Street, and we are in a separate world. We are unique, and the challenger is to be together. How we do that bridge, or how we erase that bridge. That is the challenger too. But I can see it as a positive, and for many years I'm trying to encourage my community to get better, be there, try to be a Bostonian like everybody else. Yeah.
It's always positive to have something like an airport close to us, but the cons are, the noise and the for the environment, the pollution.
Yeah.
But the problem I see is the two sides. The newcomers, the communities, they don't get informed. I mean, they're not educated. They're not used to be part of the system, because they usually think, oh, they won't hear me. They won't. It happens to me. I sometimes say, what am I gonna talk if they're not gonna listen? I mean, really. If I think that, can you believe other people that are just working and trying to make themselves a better world within their families? So the community needs to understand that they need to be involved or whatever happening in the community.
Absolutely.
They need to understand that that's
Absolutely.
their neighborhood because they live there, they pay rent, they pay taxes, their kids go to school, and that's very important. And that's what I always tell them. We are here because we just want to make sure that you understand that this is your neighborhood. And you have to take care of your neighborhood. So you have to go to the meetings. You have to understand what's going on so you can give an opinion because your opinion matters. So that's the problem that I see in my community, and I'm trying to address it, you know, and I use culture to that. And then on the other hand, when something is planning, I think they need to make a better effort reaching out the community. You know, not always going to the same source that they go. The other thing that I see in the whole system, education and everywhere, they spend a lot of money on big companies. I don't have nothing against the big companies. I love them because I work with them too. But in this case, when it comes to community outreach, they should spend the money in the community, hiring people in the community to do the reach out, because usually these people is the people that is volunteering their work in their life, and they you know, neglect their families to be in the community to help and support the community. So we really need, the government needs to pay attention on those resources that they have of individuals, instead of paying a lot of money on big companies to make a market research and spend a lot of money on creating logos, creating pictures, creating pamphlets, creating this, because the printing is very expensive. So balance it out and leave a big chunk of money to go to the community, to the company, small business, creative economy members who are already doing the work. I mean, I love the way it's been going right now, making it easy to everyone to apply. Because when you see as an entrepreneur, oh, it's a city, oh no, I don't have a chance. I mean, we have to eradicate those thinkings, you know, from both sides. We have to be together. We have to work together. I think that's a huge problem that we really need to address. And if we want to make this new world better, we need to start from there. We need to start talking. We need to start assessing these resources and allocate the money to the communities, directly to the communities. Of course, hiring the big communities too. I mean, the big corporations too. But, you know, balance it out a little bit more.
Yeah, because I do, East Boston is apart a little bit from the main, you know, body of the city, just by its geography and its position near the water and all of that. So it is interesting to hear you talk about, you know, feeling separate and apart, and how the city and the people, there needs to be work done to find a middle ground.
And then, sorry, but the people think East Boston is in another world. When people say, East Boston, oh, East Boston.
Right. It's on the blue line, everyone. It's available to you.
I lived in Chelsea for 10 years and they were like, where is that? Like, it's just over the bridge.
You can walk there. We have a great question from Rita Lara from the Maverick Landing Community Services. So Rita, I'm going to turn your mic on and let you answer your question live. Let's see here. And you should be all set to unmute yourself and ask. Oh, hold on, let me see if I have to do it. Huh. All right, we'll troubleshoot that. Rita, if you can try and unmute your own mic, that might work better. There you go, all set.
Does that work?
Yes, great.
Okay, great. So it's been great, you know, just listening to both Veronica and Gladys. And we have the Veronica Robles Cultural Center and ZoomX and other artists at our big event every year called the Maverick Community Connector. And so sad we can't do it this year. It's usually in July. We usually have over 400 people, and it's this beautiful scenic backdrop at La Presti Park. And we set up the stage. We use Veronica's stage. It's great. So in this new climate, how do you build community using art in this new climate? Like, how can we make it real is my question to the both of you.
Well, I
Hi,
will
Rita.
say,
Yeah, go ahead.
hi, Rita.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Gladys. I will go after you. Gladys? Oh, I'm sorry. Gladys?
No, to ask Pichi means that. You hear me? Ah, you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, okay. No, I like to ask Rita if Pichi means during this COVID-19. You mean that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, just where you know where we've been, you know, 3 months sort of in lockdown, and now we're coming out, and there's so much uneasiness around how, and you know, how we're out there in ways to not spread the contagion, even though Massachusetts, yay, has among, you know, one of the lowest contagion rates right now.
Yeah, Rita, let me say, we need to support the artists that right now they don't have jobs, they don't have contracts, and to keep them safe. Right now, I saw some of my friends that get the grant from the state, and they are doing concerts outside to the buildings, to the seniors. Or if you want to support a artist, okay, ask him to do a concert in the yard for you, far away from the family, but you can listen. And what else? Yeah, keep it real. Bringing them to a live concerts by themselves outside. I saw that, and it's possible they are doing it. And I like to do a lot of that. I was thinking to do a programming in next month to, if I get the grant or the money, to get those artists and do performance, a live performance around East Boston, outside of each restaurant, or outside of the outside city, no patios, and support them in any way. We need that.
Well, Rita said, I mean, in general, I mentioned, Rita, I love the event you host every year. I just mentioned it before. Rita is another great community and activist leader in our community. She's doing amazing work in there, and you should have it in this panel too sometime. Communication, I mean, we really need to start working together. Like we've been doing right now. Like right now, Gladys is mentioning something that I didn't know. Despite I am an arts organization in East Boston, we haven't had this conversation, right? So I think this needs to stop. If we're gonna, I mean, if I'm very respectful when environment. I got an email from Phil from NOAA, another great organization. He's announcing everybody saying, I'm gonna do this, who wants to join? Of course, and then we say, yes, please count me in. Things like that. I mean, a simple email to mention, especially if that what you're doing is aligns with the mission and vision of that one organization. That one organization needs to be informed, because we might have resources, we might work together, and that's the thing that we're not doing in East Boston. And I told you before the meeting, before I've been very quiet, but I think I need to start speaking up what I think and what I believe we need to fix. One thing we need to fix in our community is the lack of communication. I mean, we see each other, we say hello, blah, 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 but we don't really connect. I'm happy that I'm connecting with, I've been working close to some of the organizations, but I would love to be more connected with other organizations that we haven't done. So, and it is because we are struggling on looking for money to pay the rent, for the administration. So we are all in the same. So please, the government, the foundation, please, if you're looking for people that need money, for organizations that need money, so it's Veronica Robles Cultural Center, Main Street, Maverick Landing Social Services, Harbor Arts, Boston Harbor Keepers, East Boston Harbor Keepers. So there's a lot of organizations that we are, our mission is different, but we are working somehow together. But we need money. We really need money. And one other thing besides money, we need board members. We need volunteers for administration, mostly for administrations. I think one of the things that I wanted to mention.
So more resources to make art possible right now is what I'm hearing. Yeah. and collaboration, which I think
Yes.
we've heard in a couple different versions of this conversation as now and there, is that we're in a place where organizations need to be coming together to be able to make art possible,
Yes.
because everyone is being stretched. All right, we have a question from Gabriel Sosa, who's a local artist and one of our accelerator artists this year. So Gabriel, I'm gonna turn your mic on, and I think you can unmute yourself now, Gabriel, and ask your question. Thank you,
Yes,
Rita.
I think I am unmuted.
Great. Yes,
Okay,
we
can you hear me?
you.
Okay. Hi, Gladys and Vero and Mary-Liz and Kate. Thank you for organizing this wonderful panel, and so great to hear about what you're up to. So yeah, I mean, you know, Kate had mentioned that one of the positive things about this pandemic is just kind of the facility of people being able to connect to events like this online just quickly from wherever they are and hear about things that are going on around them. Whereas maybe before they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have gone out to the meeting or the event. And so, you know, I've just been thinking about what are the positive things going on during this pandemic. Later on, as I've told both of you this year, I'm planning on doing some billboard displays in various neighborhoods, including East Boston, that kind of are about comfort and solidarity and trying to stay positive during this time. So my question for both of you is, both of you being such strong figures in your community that people are constantly looking toward, what are you doing for yourselves to stay uplifted and stay positive and stay focused?
Wow, thank you, Gabriel. That is, I love
No,
it. I love
ustedes.
it. Nobody
Gracias.
asked me about that. Oh my God. I need to confess that 2 months ago I was in ER, and I was thinking that I get the COVID-19, and when I get there, of course they treat me like that and send me back home. But the second time that I back to the ER, they said, no, Gladys, don't come back. You had excessive work, you had anxiety, you had stress, you had everything less than the COVID-19. And from that day, I started taking off, and I turned off my phone after 7 in the night. And now I don't answer every single call. I ask them to text me. And for example, today I'm really tired, stressed. And after this meeting, I going out because I had 3 days working here in the computer, doing questionnaires, formularies, and talking with the businesses. And it's a lot. Thank you, Gabriel. And yes, I think that tonight I'm going to get a glass of wine. I don't know, Veronica, what are you doing?
Well, Gabriel, I am. I lost my only child when she was 18 years old, and I was very young too. I am a cancer survivor, and now as an artist, it is really hard for me. Lost of my jobs, my works, my gigs this year. So I've been really, overwhelmed because it's been one thing after the other one, and that's what I decided to pay to spend my and give my time and life to this project, because I need to keep myself busy. But I'm gonna be honest, I've been always very strong and resilient, but these past few weeks, I don't really like to be. I always tell the people that I like to share my happiness, because my sadness is so deep that I don't want to hurt people, but I've been thinking, and I think one of the things we need in East Boston also is perhaps a time for our leaders to pamper them, to take care of them. Like Gladys said, I don't get calls to say, Veronica, how you doing? Have you eat? have you, and I don't expect it because I'm strong, you know. But I think that's one thing that the community, or maybe we look so strong that we don't need it. And people assume because I know a lot of people will, you know, but everybody assumes, but it's not their fault. It's something that happens. But I think, thank you. This moment right now is really rewarding. Thank you, Gabriel, for asking.
Yeah.
Because it's another opportunity to provide a glimpse of the reality that the leaders are. Rita also lost her mother, you know, in this from COVID, and
Wow.
she needs to be there. I mean, we need to be there. We can't rest. Like me, I could be on the beach in another place, like just lying down and having fun, but I can't. My conscience does not allow me to do that. It's within me. It's nobody's fault. It's just me. But thank you, Kate, and for this forum. This is the very first time that I'm really speaking out my mind. And it's because I think I needed it.
I'm glad. It's been a long time coming.
Another thing that we're not doing as a Latino community is getting counseling on this. Like, we don't talk to an expert about it. And we don't want to talk about it to our friends and family because we don't want them to feel bad. So I think another thing that the organization VROC is doing, our organization, is we are programming as a session, a series of sessions to our members that feel comfortable. We're gonna be like a group sessions and independent sessions, more like a friend, not like it's gonna be a psychologist who is working. It's part of the organization, so he's gonna be doing it more like a family kind of thing, instead of just saying you are going to go to the psicólogo, because we think that psychologists and psychiatrists are for crazy people, so we don't want to be crazy. Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, but Gladys I'm glad you're going to go this tonight to take some, have a
I'm going to see my mother, and I'm going to see my mother. That relaxes me. Be there, sitting with her, a glass of wine, and that's it. Yeah, but I need it. I really need it.
Yes, and as an artist, yes, I will ask if anybody's listening to me right now. As an artist, I'm jobless. I don't have jobs. I'm looking making adjustments to my program, so I've been able to do it online. I have beautiful programs that I offer to schools because I do a lot of school performance. I am a teaching artist, and of course, I have experience, 20, 30 years of experience, and now I'm adjusting some of my programs to offer them online. Also, Veronica Robles Cultural Center, we have this huge space. It's so big, and it's wasted. I need to pay the rent because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money now with the debt that we have of the 3 months that we haven't paid the rent. Now we're going to start paying the rent in July, and then we need to add some installments to the rent. But you can use Veronica Robles Cultural Center for workshops, seminars for small. If it's 250 people, so if we just only do 25 of their capacity, we can host 20 groups of 20, 25. It's huge, and it's beautiful. And we are right now investing money on on the technical aspect, so we can do conference, we can teach online. We are trying to adjust to that because and then the main source of income that we have as an organization is the community gatherings where people donate the money for food or when they come and celebrate the culture. So we won't be able to do that. And so we're finding creative ways to continue our work. We're going to start the Mexican street corn selling at the farmers market.
I was just going to bring that up.
So if you want to support Veronica Robles Cultural Center, you can rent our hall, our venue, and you can come to the East Boston Farmers Market on Wednesdays, starting in July, from 3 to 6:30. And now you can order online, and so you can make the order and just come and pick it up. And in August, we're going to start delivering. So those are the things that we are programming for us to be able to, overcome this hardship, financial hardship.
to survive.
So in our
Yeah.
last few minutes, we have Denise DeSantis from the city who wants to talk a little bit about her office and what she does with the city of East Boston. And we do have one last question from Matt Pollock that I do want to try and get to. So Denise, I'm going to give you about a minute and a half, and then I want to go to Matt.
That's perfect. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I work for the mayor's civic engagement cabinet. Our office we do a lot of engagement, and I've been listening to everything you guys are saying. First, before I say all of that, thank you, Veronica, for being completely vulnerable and honest about it. I'm Cape Verdean. I come from a culture where we don't speak about our feelings or how we feel. So I respected that you were honest and vulnerable about how you are. My family was directly impacted with COVID. My parents and my grandparents were positive. Everyone's home and fine now. So it's like I was working through COVID, and working kept me going. So I totally agree with you that my job kept my mind off of everything I was going through. So I love that I know now that there is that Veronica Center in East Boston, and we can utilize that. We have a lot of volunteers, and my office is trying to figure out how can we engage with the community now with COVID and everything going virtual. How can we still do arts and murals and still social distance while doing this? So I wanted to let you guys, everyone on this call who can hear, know that it's like, if you guys wanted to reach out, my email is in the chat. The city provides resource. My office has we have those resources where we can put events together, or if we don't, we can reach out and come together and figure things out and put an event together, or bring some type of art event. Or I heard that you said East Boston has a lack of Latino murals and stuff. So it's like, what can we do to bring culture back there and have the youth understand their culture, even if it's like understand your flag day or something, where they teach us about their flag, even something so little. So that's just a thought. So like I said, there's tons of ways we can brainstorm on how we can engage now due to COVID. So I just want to let you guys know I'm open to, connect with anyone who's open to do so.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you very much, Denise.
What's the name of?
It's the Office of Public Service. I'm under the Mayor's Civic Engagement Cabinet. Under our office, we have Love Your Block, which has been around since 2015.
I missed that. I wanted to apply this year, but with all this COVID, I couldn't.
I think there was a few East Boston organizations that did fill out the mini grant. I think Mothers Out Front East Boston is actually in our second stage. We really liked their initiative, so they're moved on to the next stage, so which is a good thing. So we are bringing some type of art installation to East Boston for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Also, I don't know about Boston Office of Youth and Family. We usually apply for a grant, but this year I didn't get any notification about it, and I saw the press release about the money going to the universities and other programs for the kids to get their education and training for the college. But I didn't hear anything from the office, and I sent an email, but I think everybody's so overwhelmed that I don't know where the grant money for youth is going. Besides this set of organizations. Yeah, but I will find out and I will reach out for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We have one last question from Matthew Pollock. So Matt, I think you can unmute yourself now to ask your question. We do know that it's 1:29. So if folks have a commitment at 1:30, the end of this conversation is part of the recording and it'll be sent to all of you. And we'll wrap up after Matt's question. Go ahead, Matt.
Awesome, thanks. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
I'm so excited to collaborate with all of you. This year and next. Pretty much everyone on this call has been, a part in some way of Seawalls, which is my current project I'm working on. But my question for this conversation, which is maybe sort of open-ended, so maybe there's somewhat of an advantage to coming here at the end, is I think that to support artists and small businesses who are, you know, two of the, you know, most suffering entities of our community right now, we need to encourage collaboration, and I'd love to find ways that those that we can encourage collaboration. And I think it'd be really interesting if small businesses could work with artists to, you know, attract business to the businesses, as well as actually you know, put food on the table and pay artists that are working and keep them working. So, you know, I don't know if anybody has ideas already, but I'd love to find ways that we can encourage that conversation. And Veronica, you just had mentioned your space. Maybe is something that we can do there, or maybe you know, our space outdoors here. But, you know, I think I'd love to work with both of you to find ways that we can encourage the business community and the arts community to collaborate.
Yeah, Matt, thank you. And I'm glad to hear you and see that you are already in Boston, okay? We miss you when you left, okay? Yes, I had in mind, and I'm working to get money because I had no budget to do it, but because we need to promote our restaurants, this is the perfect time, July and August and September, to try to miss it. If I had money, please listen this. If I had money, I can support the artists and do a live concerts, Maverick Square, or in front of a restaurant. I can think to ask the restaurant for money to pay the artists, but we can try to combine that. Okay, it's a project that I'm working on. Still because we don't have money, but it's coming, and probably we can unite efforts, Veronica and I, to get that programming for July, at the end of July and August, to see how we can get those artists, those musicians out on the street and do a performance and try to bring alive our businesses or our district all together. I don't know. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it.
We also have that kind of similar idea about it because, as I say, I'm an artist myself, so I kind of picture what everybody else is feeling and you know, going through. So through the farmers market, we are also planning to do things, but always very close to the guidelines. I'm right now being a little bit more quiet because I want to make sure that the things are possible. But we also, as an organization, we have a float. We have a beautiful float that we could use, and I've been thinking about touring East Boston with music and going around the businesses and make a quick stop with different artists on the float. And so that way we keep the distance and we bring joy to the community, not only in the street, but also in the business, right? So we can list up the business and make a quick stop in each of the business that are open and right now. So those are the things that we've been thinking about doing July, August, perhaps September, because we have big festivals that we do during the year. Veronica Robles Cultural Center hosts the Day of the Day parade, and we also host the Mexican Independence. Last year was on the outside on the block, like a street block party. So we are trying to, you know, figure out things like that. So yeah, Gladys, we should get together and plan this together.
And this is for everybody.
And Matt too, maybe we can go to your space, the open space, and then starting in the farmers markets, going all the way, and then coming back to the farmers market.
And now and there, and I think now and there has some experience because we did the Joy Parade from the South End over to Upham's Corner. Okay. So we know about permits and pulling people together.
So maybe you can be on the committee. Thank you for accepting being on the committee. We have a
good for speaking up.
And you are
Well,
witnessing this. It
you
happens now
two,
and then.
you two are just, the word that keeps coming to mind is resilient, and your creative
Yes.
spirit shows through. And as Denise was saying, your bravery and openness is so inspiring to us. So thank you for being here. I was taking notes, and I think there's sort of three things that I'm taking away from this is, and
Kathy,
it's similar
please
to all
write
of these
down.
other clubs. Okay, you ready? One, show up. And
Right.
and Veronica and I were talking. Yeah.
What? I'm sorry?
Hello?
Okay, so I'm saying the first takeaway that I have is we just have to show up. You know, Veronica,
Yes.
you're talking about just you are being loud now and you're being heard. And that goes for youth too. If you don't come to the meeting, someone else is going to make that decision. Two is communicate. We need to just stop like, oh yeah, hey, I'm fine. We need to keep doing this and make these ideas happen. And we need to listen. I'll say as an organization, we're trying harder to just listen to what neighborhoods and you guys are asking for. And then lastly, it's important to rest. We need to be able to keep fighting and to keep offering services to others. We need to take care of ourselves.
Okay, Kari, I going to give you one more point to the last, and I'm going to be quiet. Please, please, write down.
Don't be
down.
quiet. Okay.
If Veronica and I and Mac and all you are doing all these things without money, what we can do with money?
With money.
Please,
exactly. Thank you, Gladys. That's what I always think. Can you imagine if we had money?
Yes. We do it without money. Can you believe it? What we can do with money? Oh my God, we need support. We need funds. We need funds.
I think it's coming. I think this call is just the beginning.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So speaking of funds, I need to thank our sponsors, NIFA's Fund for the Arts and the Boston Foundation for their ongoing support to help us create this series, which we started right second week of COVID. We make the recordings available online with we pay for closed captioning. We pay each of our participants for being here. So I want to say thank you to those funders for their continued support. And thank you to all of us joining us here today. We want to make this the best program it can be. So we'll be dropping in the chat a quick survey. And we'll hope you'll come back with us next week, Thursday the 2nd, same time, same place, for the question, what does Roxbury need right now? Very, very different, but some similar conversations I think that we'll have there. We will have special guests Anita Morrison-Matra with artists Ife Franklin and Chanel Thurville to talk about Roxbury. So thank you all for being here. Do get your rest, do communicate, and keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.